A voice from America at war.
Since the Second World War, it broadcasts to an audience across the world in nearly 50 languages.
From where they are relayed to you in Germany.
But now, the Voice of America, first set up to counter Nazi propaganda, is in limbo, after US President Donald Trump moved to dismantle the federal agency that funds it as part of his government cost-cutting drive. Trump accused it of radical propaganda. The cull also affects Radio Free Asia and Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty, paid for by the same source, outlets that initially were tools of diplomacy, but evolved into trusted sources of news.
At the time, they were CIA funded. That ended in the 70s. But at the time, they were part of a kind of a soft power mission. But what became very evident was just how needed they were beyond American soft power, that they were giving a voice to people who were otherwise silenced. And that in giving a voice to these people and investigating corruptions and the stories that the ruling powers didn't want you to see, they were also feeding back to the population at large who were finding out about what was happening within their borders. Autocrats will benefit from these outlets not being able to broadcast.
EU members debated ways to keep the Prague-based Radio Free Europe afloat.
Today we will also support a Czech initiative which Sweden has co-signed with the ambition of making sure that Radio Free Europe really continues to be an important voice for freedom and democracy, especially in those places where it is most needed.
But the EU foreign policy chief said the bloc would struggle to fill the void left by US funding. In Russia, where Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty is labelled an undesirable organisation, the Kremlin said scrapping the funding was an internal US matter. And China, subject to much reporting by Radio Free Asia, had this response.
I think it's no secret that some of the US media you mentioned have a notorious track record when reporting on China.
The future of more than 1,000 journalists who work for the broadcasters is now uncertain. And so is, perhaps, the future of stories they may no longer be able to tell. Milena Veselinovic, Al Jazeera.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.